It's Monday, October 5, 2015, 5:30 in the afternoon. Nicketa Thomas, commonly called Nick, was last seen on Malines Road in St. Andrew. He texted a friend to say he was waiting on some people, but he never said who. No one has seen or heard from him since. His car was found 2 days later, October 7, in Cassia Glade, Cassia Park, also in the vicinity of Malines Road in St. Andrew. 6 years later, questions are still being asked. What happened to Nicketa Thomas and his cousin, Dwight Brown? They've been missing without a trace.
Nickfotoworks.
Nicketa Thomas was 37 years old at the time he went missing. A popular photographer who was big in the dancehall space. Many people knew him as Nickfotoworks, or simply Nick.
Nickfotoworks, have a picture with me and my man a pose.
Dancer, lecturer, choreographer, and director of theatre expressions, Orville Hall, says Nick was a friend and a dancehall icon who gave the people what they wanted.
Nick is the youth where literally always have a smile on his face. Nick is the youth that you wanted him to take your photograph. Him seemed to do something with a picture that nobody else at the time was able to do. The quality of his pictures seemed to come out with the way him smile and just in personality. So it's almost like him imprinting personality on the picture itself. So even though I think it was because of his personality why most people wanted him to take them picture, you know what I mean? So if you're in dancehall and Nick not take your picture, then you don't feel like the night is complete, no matter which dancehall party you go. And he didn't look like somebody from the dancehall space, but he gave us dancehall pictures, what we wanted in dancehall, how we wanted to be represented in dancehall. That is what Nick did.
Nick grew up in Old Harbour, St. Catherine, with his 10 siblings, his parents, mother Kelita Thomas, and his father Ira Thomas, who is now deceased. Nick is the second to last child for his parents.
He was born in Spanish Town Hospital. I took him home the 4th day after giving birth, and that house up there, that's where he grew up, from up there to down here.
They lived in a big yard that had 2 concrete dwellings. The Thomases are described as humble Christian people, full of pride and ambition. Mrs. Thomas said her son struggled in school, but excelled at art.
He went to St. Diego High School. He wasn't doing very, very well, but I remember one day the teachers gave him a letter that I should come to Spanish Town, and I went to the school. And when I went there, all the teachers said, they are not encouraging me to let him do exam because he fall back. And he took me outside and he said, "Mom, please, I love the art. Can you help me?" And I said, "You're going to do the one subject?" He said, "No, I can do 3. He do 3 subjects. He passed hard with 1, and the other 2 with 3. 1 with 3 and 1 with 4.
After leaving high school, he worked in a photo shop as a cashier and developed a love for photography.
He started to go out with the other fellow them doing the photographing, and the owner realized that Nick is good at that more than the other guys them. So he put Nick first. So Nick was like the manager for the photographing. The other guys, them work underneath him.
Mrs. Thomas said Nick was a peacemaker in the family.
My son make peace with everybody. When me say all of my children ain't kind, but Nick kind. Him will give. Him full of love and compassion.
Nick is not just a son. He was a father. His son, Nick Thomas Jr., also said his dad was a loving and kind person. According to Nick Jr., at first glance, his father would seem like a churchman. His only vice? Women.
Honestly, like if you don't know about the girls' part, you don't think I want pastor. Seriously, like he's at home, he has these parties, and like crates on top of crates on top of crates of liquor. And he wouldn't touch it. Like he would not touch it. And we talk about liquor, nothing I'm going to do with it. I was there in the house. Crates on top of crates. And it get to the point which for sometimes you will find me and my cousin them drink it. Because he never drink it. Like he was never the liquor kind. I've never known if he's a person to be tipsy or anything like that. But I just know he was not able to keep himself away from other people's women.
At the time of Nick's disappearance, he was living in Kingston, off Malines Road. Lyndon Thomas was the last of his siblings to see and speak with Nick, hours before his disappearance. He said Dwight Brown, their cousin on their father's side, who lived in the Bahamas, was visiting and would normally stay at Nick's home.
Dwight was there. He came in like the Saturday night, and it was the Monday. So we were there sitting down reason and we share views and things. And Nick came in. He come and him ear way up and him went in his room. I said, Kingman, that was Dwight. I said, as someone called him, I said, Kingman, I go hear what Nick say.
In the middle of their conversation, the phone rang. It was the mother of Nick's child, Tracy Ann McBean.
I called him the Monday and I said to him, Nick, I need some money for Nick. I am still at work. He said, if you're leaving, call me. That was exactly what he said. If you're going to leave, call me. So I called him about 4:30 and he said, I think he said, Trace, me soon come or something like that.
Lyndon said Nick and Dwight were in the process of buying a house. They had planned to meet with a vendor. Following the meeting with a vendor, they were to meet Tracy in Halfway Tree.
Where Nick was living, it was uncomfortable because of more than one circumstances. So he wanted to live there. So their interest was to get an next place, but they never wanted to rent an next place. So Dwight's interest was that they're going to pay down upon one so they can use it and pay it off.
The phone rang. Once again, it was Tracy.
I said to him, get up and come, man. And don't make a lady there away. So and next thing I'll cut you now. I'm going to go back home. When I came out of the car, there's a traffic coming up the road, going to Halfway Tree. So I stepped out in the road and we stopped the traffic. And them comply and them come out. Them toot him on. And I say, all right, cool. That was the last sign of both of them.
Tracy said she continued to call him, but got no answer. He did not meet her.
So I said, this doesn't make sense. I talked to you about 4:30 and now it's almost 5 o'clock and I need to leave and he's not answering his phone. This is not like we're in a relationship where even if you're with somebody, you can't answer your phone. Answer your phone. We're not in a relationship. I am married. So that's what I started to play it out in my head. And I said, Nick, come, we're going home.
Around 5:15 p.m., one of Nick's women got a text message from him saying he was waiting for some people. But he never said who. Nick was still not answering his phone. It's now Tuesday morning, and calls to his phone still went unanswered.
I called his sister. And I said, Glynis, I called Nick whole evening yesterday and I'm not getting Nick. And I called him back this morning and I not get him. And he said, Ja, I wonder if the boy had gone with so-and-so gonna make him put him in a trouble. And I said, but him the here though? And she said, I think me hear him the here. And I said, all right. Call him the whole day Tuesday again, nothing.
It was strange not hearing from Nick, especially for his sister, Glynis Thomas. Glynis says she spoke with her brother every day.
Every morning, I send him morning text. You know, sometimes I'm busy, so I will not answer or read the text same time. But you know, I will get my answer. But that week, that Monday morning, send text, no answer. Tuesday, no answer. Wednesday, no answer.
Nick Jr. says this was unlike his father.
Usually when I call him one time, if you don't get through, you call the second time, pick up. And I was calling, texting, not getting through. I went to him and I was like, Mom, something wrong, you know.
Wednesday, I say, I nah call back because I say anywhere him is, him knows him to come to me, call me back. But something inside me again said, Tracy, and try calling again Wednesday. And I tried calling Wednesday. I said, I'm in the house and I lay down. Same time, Mama, that's his mom, called me and said, Trace, when last you see and talk to Nick? I said, Mama, from me talk to Nick Monday evening, me not hear from Nick again. Mama said, Trace, me could start pray because missing Nick come here Saturday and she started telling me her story about Nick. And she said nobody no seen her ear from Nick for Saturday. And that's when I started feeling empty inside.
Nick's mom said she spoke with him the Sunday before he disappeared. In that last conversation, she told him she was coming to Kingston that Wednesday. Mrs. Thomas had wanted her son to take some passport pictures for her.
So when we reached near to Spanish Town, I said to Ocean, say, you get your uncle? And him said, no. So I said, you know what? Call him again. And him call and him not get him. And when we near reached to where him supposed to turn by him to go down the Mullines Road, I said, call him again. No, yeah, make we go down and yard. And he said, Mama, knowing my uncle, maybe him go sleep with a girl and him no reach home yet. But we are go down there.
No one was at Nick's home, which was strange, especially because it was the day his mother was coming to see him.
The gate never even opened. We not seen car.
Mrs. Thomas went to stay with her older son, Everton, while she waited for Nick to return home.
When, 3 days passed and nothing, I said, no man, this not right. And, I went to him house, nothing. I said, you know what, Went to the police station, made the report.
They continued to call, but still no answer from Nick. Mrs. Thomas said it was at that point family and friends realized that Nick was missing.
He was missing from the Monday evening, but nobody never know. Nobody never know what happened and where he is. We just call him on him phone and ring out and nothing.
I was in denial for a moment. Nick gone somewhere when no one nobody know him there. It was too soon to call it. It was too soon to embrace the fact that this youth is missing. Missing? Nick? Nah man, that don't make no sense. Nick just tucked away somewhere with a girl and not ready for rise back yet.
The search was now on. Nick's nephews found his white 1993 BMW in the community of Cassia Park in St. Andrew on Wednesday, October 7. but there was still no sign of the photographer or his cousin Dwight.
The car was well clean and no glass, nothing mashed, no window, nothing at all. The alarm equipment then and the camera was clean. There was nothing on it. Everything wiped off.
Nick's family and friends intensified their search. They were of the view the police were not investigating the case.
We go to the superintendent at the time, I can't remember his name is, and we talked to him over and over. Him said, "They're going to do what they're going to do." We said we're going to create a march. So we're going to march and see if we can stir up some awareness in the community, do some flyers and put them up. And would the police accompany us? No. We had to march all by ourselves.
Natalie Thomas is one of Nick's sisters. She lives in Canada, but came back to Jamaica to help with the search for her brother. She too was of the opinion the police didn't do much and just didn't care about the investigation.
Maybe they have become desensitized to everything that's happening around. So you're just another number. And that's when it started hitting me that you're not going to get any help here.
We requested intervention from the commissioner. We were sent to CTAC. We went to CTAC. They wanted to talk to me and his girlfriend, and then that's it. After that, nothing.
The police, they just don't want to facilitate us with the necessaries because they knew they have links, well, link higher than them pertaining to it, and them can't touch it.
Rumors started circulating on social media about Nick's disappearance.
The affair is that he was taking money from some people and he wasn't, he couldn't give them what they wanted for the money.
Some say him carry money for Dwight, go deliver places. Some rumors say him take picture, a bad man.
According to Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of crime, Fitz Bailey, all protocols for a missing person were followed.
The initial understanding that I got, the matter was reported to the St. Andrew Central Police. It was suspected that it might be a case of kidnapping. As a consequence, it was sent to CTAC. CTAC did all that they could do in terms of the established protocol in treating with a person who is kidnapped. And they came up empty-handed.
There are times when we really want to believe in the police and believe in their full-on investigations. This is not one of them times. This is one of the times I think all of dancehall think that the police failed us when it comes on to strategic investigation.
After Nick's disappearance, Thursdays, oddly, became a nightmare for his friends and family. They received numerous calls on that day of the week, many falsely claiming that Nick's body was found.
The first Thursday, when they said them find him from one riverside, seaside, I see view, oh my God. Me think we did that the day there, because we were at his house. We ball. Me don't know how we manage. Every other Thursday, they say them find him. When we pack up in a car and we go town, nothing.
I get open-ended phone calls. People just call and answer nothing, and I can't hear nothing.
Several women also started showing up, claiming they were Nick's girlfriends.
When we find out and disappear, we see 1, we see 2, we see 3, and 4, and people are claiming him. And I 4 people, 4 different people.
Nick are the girls, them man. Our girls look Nick and Nick look girls.
The only thing thought would come in my head about him being taken away, maybe because of a woman.
More rumors emerged. This time, they said Nick was connected to the underworld. According to the rumors, it was a deal gone bad, and his cousin Dwight was at the epicenter of it.
Do I sell drugs? I'm living. That I don't know rumor. A drugs do I deal with? Buy weed or ganja. Sometime he call me, man come meet me on road and give me take the sample. I look on it, I take a picture, send no give. I say, see it, I eat this. I say, how we look, Thomas? I say, yeah man, it look good.
Lyndon said Nick was not fully aware of Dwight's connections.
I'm not saying that he doesn't have an idea. He knows what he deals in. He knows. But to the extreme, he did not know. To the extreme that he deals with certain things.
Nick would reportedly collect hundreds of thousands of dollars for Dwight from his drug-running business. But it said he had no interest in his cousin's money.
Even when Dwight used to drop money, give him and tell him to drop it off at X place, sometimes when he get hundreds of thousands, and when him say, a $5,000, him get out at $10,000, him say to take and buy a drink. And hundreds of thousands he used to collect for him.
However, Everton said he's not convinced his cousin Dwight was a drug dealer or was even missing.
I heard a policeman saying that, yo, you know, says this is the third time Dwight missing. He missing 2 times already and come back. You know, me and the brother go on operation already. And him wear khaki suit and him have him AR-15. And so like him is undercover police.
Nationwide checked with the police in Jamaica, as well as law enforcement officials in the Bahamas. Dwight was not a member of the police force there.
I have no knowledge of who that person is. I can't really speak to it.
The family decided to get a private investigator. The private investigator was employed by the Ministry of National Security.
I say, I want you to work as a private investigator. He said, no man, no, you don't have to give me that. Your situation set away. I really want your thing to help. He said, all right. He said, why even give you a call, man? I'm tell you exactly what happened. When evening come, him don't call. We call him. It's actually me and my sister went and visit him. We call him. He said, well, anything here in the street, just work with it, yeah.
After a while, the private investigator stopped taking the family's calls. But Natalie continued calling. She wanted to know what happened to her brother that would have even prevented a private investigator from getting involved.
I kept calling him. And then he said, the next time he called him, he said, oh, I got some answers for you, but you're not going to like it. I'll tell it to you tomorrow. And I said, no, tell it to me now. And he said to me, I have confirmation that Nick is dead. And they put his body in, I think he used the word manhole, in a manhole. And I said, how did you know that though? Who told you that? And he said he couldn't tell me that information.
The family received a call from a businessman who had connections to the underworld. He told them he wanted to help with finding Nick's body.
So anyway, he said if we could meet him and talk. We went down to Sovereign Mall, and he was saying that his girlfriend at the time was a friend of Nick's, and whatever he's gonna do, it's really for his girlfriend because she's bugging him to, see what he can do. And I said, but what do you know about Nick's being missing? And he actually said to us, do not plan a memorial as yet. Let me see what I can find out. Because when I find Nick, I can fix him up and you wouldn't know, you guys could have a memorial service or something like that, and your mom can have a funeral.
Natalie and Everton met with the businessman a second time He wanted $300,000 so the family could get Nick's body.
You only have a certain window of time because the people he's dealing with, right? They have to know right away. And I said that we can't tell her that can't tell her that right away. We need to be able to talk as a family about this. He said, you would be surprised where nobody would have believed that that's where a body is. That's what he said to me.
The family started wondering how the businessman had all this information. The conversation was recorded and sent to the police.
We took it to the police. The police was aware of it. I don't know what they did to it. They actually took Everton's phone for like days before he got it back. And nobody ever mentioned that to us. Nobody ever said, oh, we reached out to Mr. The only thing we've been told is to not get involved with. It drove the fear of God in us.
The recording was never investigated by the police until Nationwide started our probe in early 2021.
I admit that the police may have faltered in terms of confronting the person who gave that voice note. I took over, and having done a review, I made some inquiries, and subsequent to that, the person was contacted and interviewed.
Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey interviewed the businessman himself.
He indicated that the victims of the crime, one of them, was somebody who was well known to him, and one of the person who will consider to be a friend. He also indicated that, in fact, the issue about some funds and money, etc., that was not an indication that he was aware of where the body of the victim was. Essentially, what he wanted to do is to search. That was the intention. To search for the body. That's essentially the essence of the interview. So it's not that he knew exactly where the person was, but the person was his friend, and he had interest also in finding, because he's a part of the underworld, and he indicated that, well, his past, said that was his past, being a part of the underworld.
Six years later, and still no family member or friend knows what happened to Nicketa Thomas or Dwight Brown. His mother has suffered 3 heart attacks since the disappearance of her boy.
The last one, I spent 2 weeks in the hospital because mostly not the heart here. So most times we don't try to talk about Nick because every time it's like the attacker take me again.
Deputy Commissioner Bailey says their investigations suggest Nicketa Thomas and Dwight Brown were killed on the same night they disappeared.
One of the suspicion is that there was a deal that went wrong, bad. And out of that, 2 persons were killed. I don't think there was anything that the police could have done to avert. We believe that. Unfortunately, it's dead. And there was nothing that they could have done to avert the death.
The family members are now divided on Nick's disappearance. Some believe Nick is dead. Others say he's still alive.
I don't accept it that my brother is dead. No. I pray, I hope to see my brother again someday, but not that my
that he's dead.
Too long and you don't hear anything. Where would I be? Where would he be now?
There are some of us where I wonder if Nick gonna hide somewhere now. Some people, I think some people might say, maybe him get in too deep with something and just decide if he just take away himself and hide. There are some of us who still believe it.
Long time in a dream see him. Long time. All me have a pictures and memory to look at.
DCP Bailey has now reopened the case and assigned it to the Cold Case Unit.
It's unfortunate that we have not yet uncovered or recovered the body of the person. I know that the family really want to see closure, and I empathize and sympathize.
If he's dead, if I've been born, I would have wanted to bury if I could have get it. That's a closure. Don't? If I have any hair upon him, a nice plait hair.
And Nick Jr. has forgiven the person or persons who may have abducted and killed his father. He wishes he could remember his father's voice.
I don't remember what it sounds like. I honestly cannot remember how his voice sounds. And I sit there for like hours just trying to remember. I was like, damn. No, but this night I can't remember his voice.
Mrs. Thomas remembers the last time she saw her baby boy.
Oh, the last time it was a night. Somebody died up here and he came to the setup and come lay down with me in the bed. My days lay down in my bed.
Up to the time of this recording, the police have not told the family that they theorize that Nicketa Thomas was killed. There are many unanswered questions. Why did the private investigator stop taking the family's calls? Did the businessman know where Nick's body was? Why have the police not been able to find his body? If Nick was murdered, who killed him? Since 2017, 265 people have been reported dead after initially being listed as missing by the police. If you have or know any information, please let us know. Call us at Nationwide News Network. Thank you for watching Missing Without a Trace, the Nicketa Thomas story.
You don't know Nick from Nickfotoworks.com. You don't know it's my birthday cookout and party. November 10.